Hi and welcome to our review of the biggest Mini ever. This is the 2017 Mini Countryman and this one is the Cooper S version. This car was only launched about 2 months ago, went on sale I think around February or March globally, and we've already got it here. This of course is known as the F60 version. It's the second generation of the Countryman. The first one was the R60, and yes, it has bloated. I mean, look at it, look at the size of this thing. This is actually, let me tell you exactly, this is 20 centimeter longer. 7 centimeter is just in the wheelbase, and it's actually 3 centimeter wider. Now, to just give you pricing off straight off the bat there, the Cooper is 164,000 dirhams, which is about $45,000, and it comes with a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine producing 135 brake horsepower and 162 pounds-foot of torque. And that runs the wheels front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I think we only get the all-wheel drive versions through a 6-speed automatic 0 to 100 in just under 10 seconds. This one is the Cooper S. There's something barreling along in the back there. I thought maybe the camera was having a problem. This is the Cooper S. Sorry about that. This is the Cooper S. This is a 2-litre 4-cylinder, 189 brake horsepower, 207 pounds-foot of torque. 8-speed auto on this one, again all-wheel drive, and it's good for 0 to 100 in about 7.2 seconds and 225 kilometers an hour. Price around 190,000, that's about $52,000. Oh yeah, you heard me right, that's the price. And you know what, you're getting a lot of Mini for your money. Although that maybe is a bit too much money. But look at it, it is absolutely massive. It's got this massive face with the Mini, the little round headlights have been slowly sort of parting their way a little bit, and it's sort of going out further and further. In fact, it looks a bit like this. Scary, right? Check it out. Okay, let me take you on a little walk around of the car. So let's take a look at the boot, and again, typical round Mini fob there, and I can press the button on here to open the boot, and there it goes. The boot arises. Here, check it out. Inside the boot is pretty damn spacious actually compared to the previous Countryman. You could almost get, maybe I would hazard 2 suitcases into there, not too bad. And if you needed more room, the 3-way split folding rear seats there, so quite spacious. There are these elastic hole tags here. I suppose you can put stuff on there. There's a hook there, there's a power supply there, there you can see, and a pocket here. And underneath here, there's another compartment. You can actually remove this entire shelf. But oddly, there's this thing here. And I tell you what, I was like, what is that? And it took me a while to kind of understand. But the best I can think is actually, it's a little cushion. Oh, isn't that nice? You look after your bum. They give you a soft bum cushion on the back, and you can watch the camels go by and stuff like that, whilst displaying the Mini branding. Check it out. Okay, cool. Enough of that. But yes, there is a spacious well there. So actually you could probably get quite a lot of stuff in there. So quite practical in the back, but how is it in the back seat? Let's find out. Oh, and as you would expect, it's a bit tight back here. For me, when I'm 6 foot, 288 centimeters, the front seat is set for me. However, that's what you're thinking, right? Except what you didn't account for is the fact that I actually secretly, rather deceitfully actually, move this seat forward, and because I can do that, and all I have to do is reach underneath here. If you can see, there's a little handle. I don't know if you can make it out. There's a handle down there. It's a bit rude, that, doesn't it? Anyway, there's a handle down there. Just push it back, and now look. I've got to say, this has got tons more room than the old Countryman, that's for sure. I mean, if you want to carry adults, full-size adults in the back, this is the car to get. By the way, check it out. My shoes are glowing blue. There's ambient lighting all over this car. I think there may be a way of changing the color, but I couldn't find out how. But there's some very clever tricks that they do with lighting in this car, which I can't show you at the moment because it's daylight, but I'll tell you about when I get into the front. But anyway, that's kind of spooky. Blue shoes. Anyway, so actually very, very spacious. Headroom, tons. Even with the sunroof here. Can you see that? It's a big sunroof here. There's 2 double sunroofs actually, moon roofs, whatever you want to call them. But, actually good space for my head. Shoulders are not too bad. Knee room is fine. Shins, fine. No problem at all. Feet, fine. Plenty of space. 2 air vents down there. No USB though, but there is a USB inside there. There's 2 actually. There's one in that compartment and there's one at the front. I'll show you there. There is, however, a power supply, so you can utilize that. Isofix child anchor points there, of course, and there's full seat belts, all for 3 people, although probably more comfortable with 2, but at a push, normal adults you could get 3 people in there. There's a central armrest, and in here you press the button and you get these 2 cup holders. A bit flimsy that. I think that might over time, I think that once the kids have their wicked way with those flaps will come out. That's what I think. And over here, very deep, very, very deep bins. Very deep indeed. I don't know why there's a bit of a gap there, but quite spacious, and a little tray down there as well. I love these little roundel, traditional roundel motifs that populate the interior of a Mini. Of course, the big center dial as well. So yeah, actually remarkably spacious, and they've got rid of that central. They used to have this thing across here. Forget about that. That's gone. So let's see what the front is like. And the first thing you notice when you get into these, I don't know if you can see on that camera, but look at these seats. And it's one of the things that I posted up when I first got this car, because it confused a lot of people, because a lot of people thought that I just posted a picture of the seat itself, and people thought that I was testing a Bentley or a Maybach even, because that's from these quilted and nicely stitched seats. That's what they thought. And look at, you got this separate under thigh bolster, which actually, look at that, you can pull it out. Isn't that good? So down there you've got your traditional, I don't know if you can make it out, but the traditional oval shaped pedals still there, still present and correct, and a lot of the circular motif and everything that goes on in the Mini is still there. Let's turn this on because it's a hot day today, 42, 43 degrees, and the starter button is still, these toggle switches are still there. I always love these little toggle switches. More for show than really functionality, but nice though, I like them. There you go. Now, what have we got here? Well, I mean, there's quite a lot to get through. I mean, we'll start with this major screen, which is a touch screen, by the way. So you can just go, and there you go, all the technology in action. I just want to show you that, because you've got a sport display, and it shows you power and torque as you're driving along. It's a bit like in the SRT and the Hellcats, right? You get the power and the torque. I don't know why you need this in this, but anyway, you can exploit all of, what was it, 100 and something, 90 horsepower, whatever. Anyway. How do you get into sports mode? You can, from down here. It's got this big dial. Look at the size of that dial. But there you go. Look what's happening. Minimalism, green. And then you got, where are we? Mid, hang on, mid. And then you got, look, sports, and you get like racetrack. Look at that. Cool, huh? And it starts to glow red and stuff. This thing does all kinds of stuff. And it varies depending on air conditioning and volume and, oh God, all kinds of stuff. Now look at this pattern on here. This is really, really nice. It's just, it doesn't go all the way, it just stops there. This is kind of plasticky, but it's nice plastic, and sort of quality plastic. And this is what I was saying, I can't show you now because it's daytime, but at night, so this sort of color here, see, if I show you down there in the door pocket in the door, you can see it's glowing blue. Now that ambient lighting, which is down there, and you get a little bit of it coming out here, you actually get it coming out in patterns. I'll try and post out a picture, see if you can make it out. But you get it coming up in patterns along here, which is, I don't know how they've done that, but that's really kind of nice. And I like the way that these are configured. AC is struggling a little bit in this heat, but it's not too bad, I suppose, once it really gets going. This dial is massive, and you can control it with the iDrive here, plus these loads of buttons. It's a very, if you're familiar with BMWs, it's a very similar system. By the way, as I mentioned, there is a USB stick down there. I like these sort of checker-plated old tartan type of motifs that they've got here in these here and in this little pocket here as well. That's a nice touch. Come on, give me that. I like that. A little place to keep your phone and stuff like that. And you've got your manual thing. You just push it across to get sequential AC controls. And this bit here, if I use the iDrive, go into menu, and you've got navigation, Mini connected, although this one is not connected. And you've got My Mini, and you can go into driver profiles. You can set that up, how you want to do that, and all of this sort of stuff. It's too much to go into. I'm not really going to go into too much, but basically this is where you've got everything. Your music, it connects Bluetooth. There's a nice sound system on this. It's got a Harman Kardon. Can you make that out? Harman Kardon, and really quite nice. I really have been enjoying this one. Better even than the BMW I tested recently. This one's very, very good. So nice set of dials there. A lot of stuff on there. Sat nav and everything as well. Although why do you need sat nav these days? Honestly, everything's in the phone, right? And then your typical pod, not an instrument panel so much as a pod that exists here, because literally it is. Look, if you look at it, it's kind of like a pod. There's your fuel. Oh, the wipers have gone off, and there's that's because I touched the lever here. I touched the stalk here, and you got your fuel display there. You got your instrument panel and your rev counter. It's in park, so I can show you that. There you go. Oh, sounds nice. You know what? I think that sound's coming through the speakers. Lot of controls on the steering wheel. There you go. And light switches down there, some controls down. You know what? That's enough of all that. Let's just drive it, because you know the thing about Minis is that they are about driving, aren't they? And honestly speaking, this Mini is huge. Let's be honest. And it's not very pretty. Let's be absolutely honest about it, okay? I've long been a fan of the Mini, of this, you know, BMW Mini, this new reborn Mini, as it was, that came out in about 2000, was it? 2000, 2001? And I've always been a fan. I've always been a proponent. I've always defended them. I have, because I've always said to them, I said, people are like, oh, the BMW Mini, it's not Mini anymore, is it? Oh, I don't know, it's a bit big now, isn't it? It's not really Mini. I'm like, you know what? Drive it. Drive it, and then you won't complain. That's what I've always said about Minis. Drive them, and you won't complain. And this one, honestly, even I'm struggling with the looks, okay? Maybe it's not quite as bad as the new Clubman, which I think is absolutely horrendous at the front. But this one is big, it's bloated. It's got a bit of presence, it does, I have to grant it that. It's got a bit of presence, got a bit of style. I think the John Cooper Works version going to look even better with the small gaping grills. Oddly, it's got John Cooper Works written here and on the door sill, but this is not John Cooper Works, because John Cooper Works has different seats, has Alcantara roof lining, and has a bigger air vents at the front. Plus, instead of the S badge on the grille, it has a John Cooper Works badge. But this is an S, so it's basically the next best thing. And so as I've said, it does have a nice look about it, but you are beginning to think, well, I mean, from inside it feels quite big. It feels like an SUV almost, you know? It's getting there. And definitely a full-size hatchback. It is a full-size family car. And we're here on the gravel. I've done a little bit of off-roading in these tracks. Honestly, it's not that happy. I think it's the tires, actually. It's got Pirellis on it, and they're not really that happy. But now I'm on tarmac, and now I'm going to put this into sports, and the performance is there. Oh, it just picked up again at 4.5. I got a second win there. This is the thing about the Minis, right? All of a sudden, I'm on tarmac and I'm back in the Italian job. Look at that. I'm just chucking it around at speed. This is great. This is what the Mini is all about. Even in this SUV version, this sort of higher mounted on stilts, you know, ground clearance, all-wheel drive, so it's a bit heavier, but it still feels nippy. It still feels like it wants to go. It still feels like a little bit of a mini bulldog thing. It just wants to go. That's a bit of a mascot for Mini, that, isn't it? And you know, you can stick that across and use the paddles. Now, one thing is, actually, if you're on it, if you're driving, shall we say, in an enthusiastic manner, I would recommend using the paddles, because sometimes when you come to a speed bump and you slow down and then you get back onto the accelerator, nothing happens for a while. No, nothing. And I think the gears get confused. I don't think it's so much the engine as the transmission is getting confused. So really, it's good to use the paddles because the response is there. But look at the acceleration. I mean, this thing is fantastic. And then look at the turn. Whoa! It's got such a nice turn in. It's instant response. You know, really good, really pleasing. The steering works quite well. Could do with a little bit more feel, honestly. But the response is good. The weighting is nice. The ride on this car is actually surprisingly good for a Mini. It's a really, really good ride. Body control is very, very good. Look, really settles. Just a little bit of a pitch, but it's not going to make you woozy or anything. But at speed, you know, but it almost kind of pivots around its center. So nice, very delicious. So one of those cars where really, you know, you can say what you like about it, you can love it, you can hate it, but again, take it for a drive and you'll be like, I've got to admit, it's rather good. So there you go. There's our review. Does it justify the price? I don't know. You know what? My top tip, wait till you get a used one. Buy an ex-demo or something, because they depreciate like a stone falling from the sky, honestly speaking. So wait till it gets used, then buy them, right? They're not going to like me saying that, but that's my top tip to you. That's what you should do. Another little corner, so bang it down into third. Whoa! Oh, I love the way it pitches in at the front. Really, really good. And it just like holds on. Fantastic. Brilliant! Love it. There's our review of the Mini Countryman Cooper S. Do go and check it out. Hope you enjoyed this review. Do go and look for us on motoringme.com. Find us on all the usual social media. Just search for Motoring Middle East and you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and of course on YouTube. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please do like, share and hit that subscribe button. And you can also follow me on Shazad Sheikh. Just look for Shazad Sheikh Motoring. I'll put the links, the things are up there, you can see them. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one.